Please advise. Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. Loveline, coast to coast.
Hey, everybody, it's Loveline. I'm Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Marcel. Dr. Marcel is filling in for Dr. Drew tonight. Dr. Marcel was Dr. Drew's roommate in college, at least in medical school, right?
Yeah.
And Dr. Marcel's specialty is plastic surgery. So Marcel fills in once in a while for Drew. It's been a little while, but if you haven't heard him before, he does know his way around the plastic surgery field. And I think we ought to steer it a little bit that way tonight.
Yeah, no, that would be probably where I could give at least some kind of decent advice. But, if it's something fairly straightforward medically, we could try.
Yeah, well, Marcel's no idiot, no doubt about it. He's a little bit of a diabolical genius to his genius, but he's diabolical. But he is a genius, whereas like Dr. Bruce has a high IQ, but he sort of airs towards spaz. You skew toward diabolical. Yeah. But genius is genius.
Well, you got to take what God gives you.
And so Marcel, I mean, you name what you do or what you don't, like all the topics of plastic surgery that people could call up and talk to us about tonight.
Well, plastic surgery, fortunately, is a real broad field. Most people equate it with cosmetic surgery, and certainly I do a lot of that. But plastic surgery is also reconstructive surgery. We do cancer reconstruction. We do accident victims, birth defects. I do less and less of that as I get more on in my career.
Right.
Well, I'm probably about 70% cosmetic now. A lot of breast surgery, a lot of liposuction, body contouring, facelifts, eye lifts, that kind of stuff.
Let me ask a couple of questions, like with body contouring and liposuction and stuff like that. If you have an area that's just not coming off, like the love handle area.
Oh, yeah.
You're working out, you're eating right, you look pretty good, there's that pocket.
Yeah.
Can you get rid of that pocket without plastic surgery? Unless you're thrown in some sort of a Japanese prisoner of war camp where you have to build a bridge for 6 years and you're living off half a cup of rice every day. I mean, other than that, is you ever going to lose that?
It's real tough because there's a couple of areas on your body that are known as diet-resistant areas of fat accumulation. And you almost have to lose an unhealthy amount of weight in some cases to get rid of those areas. I mean, and you start to look really gaunt in your face. So that's where liposuction really can come in and make a nice difference. You don't have to lose that much weight.
And speaking of your face, you could be a skinny person who has like a double chin.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere to go from being skinny, really.
A lot of that's familial. A lot of that, look at your parents.
No, yeah.
See what's in store for you.
Am I going to kick the ass out of them when I see them over the holidays? My parents are a mess. I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong. I mean, if you saw my parents, you'd be like, oh, my God, Adam, you are some kind of good looking. I mean, they're unattractive people. They are just, but really
now,
physically.
Have you done any DNA testing? Are they your parents?
It's a good question. I kind of hope not.
Huh?
You see, that's the difference. I'd be looking to see if they weren't, and I'd be celebrating them. No, I don't want them listening. But no, they don't stay up this late. But they're very unattractive. I have a very unattractive family. But my sister, for instance, is fairly attractive.
Yeah,
and I'm all right. Nothing wrong with me. But both my parents, they're like a collective 3.5. My dad's like all eyebrow and forehead. My mom looks like a chunky Tom Petty.
Now, you got to hope that doesn't, skip generations if you have kids now, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not sure how hot I want my daughter to be.
Okay.
And the son, you don't want him to have a hooked nose or cleft palate or something. Right. But other than that, hopefully the guy gets a decent grade. He goes out and gets himself a Porsche Boxster or some other car, and he gets laid anyway. That's Marcel's car, by the way. All right, so phone number here, 1-800-LOVE-191. Drew is in New York tonight. I saw him last night at Pat O'Brien's Christmas party. We had a nice talk, and I guess he flew out to New York this morning to do Good Morning America. So he'll be back tomorrow night. So he'll be in studio tomorrow night. All right, that's fine. So we're going to take some, we'll mix it up tonight, but we do have a bona fide expert in the field of plastic surgery and reconstructive surgery here tonight, and I know that's an issue that a lot of you are interested in. So tonight's the night to take advantage of Dr. Marcel. Adam?
Yeah.
You're 16?
Yeah.
You're 5'4". You're 225 pounds.
Yeah.
And you want to lose the weight?
Yeah.
And what have you tried?
I tried jogging, and I tried some of those cheap 48-hour drink things.
Yeah.
Do you think those are going to work?
No, not really.
Yeah, nothing easy like that works.
I didn't think so.
It's kind of you got to do a little lifestyle change.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the thing that I happen to find, and Marcel, you chime in or stop me when I'm wrong. The big difference thing I noticed was the protein versus the carbohydrates.
Yeah.
That if you start cutting out all the breads and muffins and pastas and cereals and stuff, it really leans you out.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, fat used to be the big villain, but I think over the last few years, a lot of people are noticing that it's the carbs that are really getting to you.
Right. So, Adam,
Yeah.
you eat a lot of carbs?
No. Well, I think it's because I have a mason jar in my ass.
Oh, bogus call. That is so tough. I hope you die of morbid obesity, or at least paralyzed by it. Mark?
Yes.
You're 20?
Yes.
What's up?
I've been dating this girl.
Wait, I just got to say something. You know, I was just in Las Vegas making bogus phone calls for the last 3 days. I mean, I left early Thursday morning, and I got home late, or at least in the evening yesterday, and calling hundreds of people, making fake phone calls for the Crank Yankers program. And I get one prank phone call, and I'm PO'd. This is an outrage. How dare you?
Bastard.
What do I look like? Yes, I must seek revenge on this 16-year-old. I just made 300 fake phone calls, and now I'm pissed.
That's so good.
I know. Isn't it great being a guy?
Yeah.
I'm outraged. The indignity. Mark,
Yes.
you're 20?
Yes.
What's up?
I'm 20, and I've been dating this girl for a little bit over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
And for about the first 5 or 6 months, we'd go at it like crazy, like all the time, like pretty much anywhere and everywhere we could, we would.
Right.
And then I went away to college, and when I would come back and visit, from the moment I'd get here to the moment I'd leave, we'd be getting it on all the time.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, that's what you were doing, right?
yeah, no, that's what I was doing. And this was going on for like right up until I went to school, which was about maybe like 4 months ago or so.
Right. I thought when you came home from college, you were getting it on.
Well, I was like on the weekends, like when I'd come back and like visit.
Yeah, you were getting on whenever you saw her.
Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't having sex with her when you weren't seeing her, though.
No.
Okay. All right.
And then I kind of flunked out of school and had to come back home and kind of restart all over again.
Yeah.
And ever since I got back, like, she refuses to do anything. Like, she doesn't want to have any part of me.
Yeah. Maybe
And it's
she's,
not-
yeah.
Maybe she's moved on.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that, like, it's not that, like, she doesn't seem like it's like she's moved on or whatever. It's just she doesn't want to do anything sexual.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, and I'll ask Marcel what he thinks, but don't want to do anything sexual is like three things, like some sort of hormonal imbalance because you spat out a kid or something, whatever, you're hitting menopause, some sort of something with the pill or something. We can pretty much count that one out.
Right.
My body, I'm not into you anymore. My body's just shutting down. Women do this. They still think they're in love with the guy and stuff, but their body is done.
Right.
Their body's starting to close up shop. Or number three, something happened. Like he got busted cheating or she's cheating.
Yeah.
And a lot of times if a woman is having sex with another guy, they don't want to have sex with two guys at the same time because that makes them a tramp.
Right.
So it's one of those two.
I'm
I
kind of
would
leaning
say.
towards the last one.
The cheating one.
Yeah.
Mark?
Yes.
Just because it's better radio, or you actually think that?
No. I mean, this was a gal that was totally into him and was having sex with him all the time to suddenly turn the faucet off.
Maybe she saw another guy while you were off at college?
Well, like, when I went off to college and she was still here,
Right.
we kind of had this agreement that, like, we could see anybody we wanted while, like, we were out of town or whatever, and, we'd tell the other one about it and just be like, okay, that happened, and if it was meant to be, then it was meant to be.
Yeah.
So you did this?
Well, yeah, I went along with it, and I was like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah, but you slept with other women.
Oh, no, I didn't sleep with anybody.
He tried like hell.
I didn't get to hit anything.
He went through a case of roofies.
Yeah.
He went to every party. He did everything, but he couldn't get laid. But do you think she did?
Well, from what I understand from everybody that I know, she hooked up with this one guy, and but they didn't do anything. They were just making out, and that was it.
Yeah.
You believe that?
Yeah, because these people that I know that are telling me this, I've known since the 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
So
there. All right, so Mark, so how often do you see her now?
I see her on almost a daily basis.
On almost a daily basis, and you hold hands, you kiss.
Yeah.
You do.
It doesn't go beyond that.
All right, well why don't you go ahead and ask her what's going on then?
Okay.
Because listen, if you're banging the bejesus out of somebody every day you see them, and then all of a sudden you see them and you're holding hands and you're kissing, and that's where they want to stop it, they should feel compelled to offer up some form of an explanation.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think?
Absolutely.
And listen, everybody, go ahead. Here's what we need you to do. Marcel doesn't need you to do this because he's going to be back putting boobs in a couple days. But I need you to do this, which is ask the questions. If something's going on in your relationship, if you need an answer, a lot of people call the show. They don't know why the person isn't talking to them or how come they dried up sexually, or they don't even know if they've broken up or they're still going out with the person. Go ahead and ask them, but you got to listen.
Right.
And people don't just come out and say, I want to break up with you. For the most part, they say things like, I still love you, but I don't love you, or, I just need I feel like I just need some time to think. It's not you. I just need some time.
I need some space.
I need a little space. I'm kind of at a crossroads right now. Here's how you know someone wants to break up. When they claim they can't do other stuff with you around.
Right.
They go right now I'm really focusing on my education and I can't have you around. It's that's the biggest BS answer in the world, because you talk to people who get married, the guy's running for president, first thing he does is thank his wife. Without her support, without her without her nurturing without her being close to me on this campaign, and the women do it to they win Academy Award. First people they thank is their husband or wife for creating the support and the stability for them too. But if someone tells you that, I'm trying to focus on my work right now and I just can't, it's always BS.
Yeah.
They want out.
It's a smokescreen.
Yeah, you can have a relationship and do anything. You can be a professional plate spinner, and you could be going for the record, which I believe is it's 27 hours, I believe, of continuous plate spinning.
Wow.
Did you not know that?
No, did not.
No. Well, it's true. And you could get engaged during that period of time if you were into the person.
Exactly.
Actually into the person. So guys don't hear real well. And so guys walk away with, she's focusing on her studies right now, so she needs a couple weeks, so that's cool. I'll give her a little space, and then we'll get married.
A lot of times people are afraid of what the answer is going to be, so they don't want to ask the question. So they'd rather live in their own little fantasy world.
Right. And even if they do, when they hear the polite answer,
right.
and by the way, everybody, what percentage of the time do you really get the truth? You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you have some dinner guest who wants to cut out early from the dinner party, you're not getting the truth. When someone's breaking up with you, you're not getting the truth. When your boss is firing you, he's not. Rarely giving you the truth. When you ask a girl for a phone number and she doesn't want to give it to you, I mean, that's how life is. Otherwise, it'd just be a society where people be going, I'm firing you because you're fat and you give me the creeps and you don't do any work and I seen you scratching your nuts all the time, Phil. You're out of here. People don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So they're polite, but you got to listen to what the message is, not how they're delivering the message. Charlie?
Yeah, what's going on?
You're 19?
Yes, I am.
What's up?
I just recently got my tongue pierced about a week and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting really nasty on the bottom. I called a lot of body piercing places, but they won't really give me a straight answer as to if it's infected or not.
Well, legally they can't. Legally, they're not physicians. They can give you an opinion, but your best bet is to go see your family doctor.
I don't have insurance right now, so that's kind of a problem.
Well, take the piercing out.
Do what?
Take the piercing out.
See, they told me not to do that just because it'll close up. And
Well, that's right.
But
But see, if you've got an infected foreign body in your tongue and you leave it in, you potentially are going to have just a rip-roaring infection of your tongue. It's going to swell up, and you think you're in trouble now.
Yeah, wait till you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can always get it re-pierced down the road. Maybe you just had some bad luck. Maybe it was not good technique by the piercing place. But if you don't have insurance, and believe me, if you let this go to the point where you have to go to the doctor, it's going to cost you a fortune. So take the piercing out, wait a few months, and then try again.
All right. Please, everybody with the piercings, especially the guys. What is that doing for you? I know I'm just old and I'm Squaresville or something, but on women or guys, it just doesn't. To me, it doesn't. There's a chick who's a 7 and now she has a pierced nipple. Does that make her an 8 or a 9? I mean, to me, it just makes her a 7 with a pierced nipple. Maybe even slides her down to a 6.5, depending on how you feel about it. I mean, it just doesn't make you. At least to most sane people, does not make you that much more desirable. And I know everyone claims they do it for them, but that's always just so much BS.
Well, there is that certain element of mystery to it, though, with that, especially women with that tongue piercing.
Well, you do, yeah. Oh, yeah, you get the idea that they're open for business. I mean, that this...
and the extra speed bump action there,
Tongue piercing is done for some oral pleasure, and, yeah, you might spend a little more time and buy her one more drink kind of thing, because it seems like more fertile soil to try to plow if you're just hanging out. And if you're doing it to kind of, let the world know that you give one mean BJ, that's fine, but no girl will ever admit that. Girls won't admit to doing anything for anyone else. They buy the panties and the lingerie and the Victorias, that's all for them. Yeah. Whatever they do, it's all for them. Never quite do buy that. All right, let's, again, Dr. Marcel is filling in for Dr. Drew tonight, and Marcel is a plastic surgeon. So if you have those kinds of calls, tonight would be the night to make them. Frank?
Hey, I've got a question for Dr. Marcel.
Fire away.
Okay, it's kind of an embarrassing question, but a few years ago I kind of gained some weight, and as a result, I have some stretch marks kind of around my stomach. And is there any way to get rid of those?
Well, the problem with stretch marks is a sign that just under the outer layer of your skin, you've torn the tissue. It's like what we call a subdermal tear or a dermal tear. And there's a gap there. So if they're white stretch marks, there's nothing right now that's on the market that's particularly effective. I know there's laser boutiques that claim that they can make those stretch marks get better, and the results are decidedly mixed. I've had patients that have spent thousands of dollars on their stretch marks and with very little visual benefit. Now, if the stretch marks are red or purple, you can actually make a huge difference in those with certain types of lasers. So you should, depending upon what they look like, if they're red or purple, you should definitely get them evaluated by somebody.
They have red and purple stretch marks?
Oh, yeah.
I only see them in the white variety.
Yeah, the white ones are tough. White ones are tough.
Hey, Frank?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. People don't really care that much about stretch marks.
Well,
I mean, chicks don't worry about it that much.
It's a little bit embarrassing, though, when you take off your shirt, so.
Yeah, you just tell them, tell them you had twins or something. No, I know it's not the greatest thing in the world, but I've heard women complain about guys who are fat and possibly even stretch marks on fat guys, but if you're not fat and you got it's the fat part that they object to. The stretch mark, here's why people don't like stretch marks, is they basically, you think of fat.
Right.
You think, well, where do they get those stretch marks? They must be fat. But if you see, once in a while you see stretch marks on a person that's not fat,
right,
and it's not very distracting.
No.
Not that big a deal. It's just when the guy's coming in at, three bells and he's got the man boobs and you're seeing the stretch marks under the man boobs. Yeah. That guys get that good. Oh yeah, I have seen that purplish one. That one between the arm and the man boob.
Right.
That's where that purple one comes in.
Right.
Yeah, that's a sweet, sweet look. Hey, did you see what I want to ask you about is the stretch marks. You see that ABC show that
Extreme Makeover?
Extreme Makeover?
No.
You had to watch that.
I swear I didn't.
Why not? Why wouldn't you? You'd have to watch that.
Yeah, it kind of trivializes what I do, what people like me do, I think. It makes it such a media event.
Yeah.
And a circus. And, I mean, plastic surgery is a great field. I'm one of the luckiest people I know. I love what I do. I have a lot of fun with it. You can really make some positive changes in people's lives. But that's just it. You are kind of playing with people's lives at some point. You're playing with their psyche. You're playing with their self-esteem. And to make it into a media circus-y type of a thing, I think it cheapens the image of the field. Yeah. And God knows we've got enough image problems as it is.
Yeah, well, you do, but, here's the thing about, seems about plastic surgeons is, they sort of are what they are, and people make their jokes, and maybe they may not have the same, they may not garner the same respect as some cardiologist or something, but ultimately there's always going to be a place for them in society. Right. They're going to make plenty of money, and a doctor's a doctor when you're trying to reserve a table. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're dealing with people that have money, and it doesn't seem too bad, and it seems to be growing.
Yeah.
I mean the amount, and I don't know if you know the exact numbers, but the amount of Americans that had some form of cosmetic surgery done 10 years ago, it has to have doubled by now, right?
Oh, easily. It's dramatically climbed. And a lot of it is a result of stuff like Botox, for example, become very popular. A lot of the laser procedures, because those are procedures that have low risk, low potential for downtime, so they're become very accepted.
Right. Hey, good times. That's what I say. All right, let's take ourselves a little bit of break. Again, Dr. Marcel filling in for Dr. Drew. He'll be back tomorrow night. He's in New York. He's going to do Good Morning America. Dr. Marcel is a fantastic plastic surgeon, so if you have those kinds of questions, you can ask them tonight, and we'll be back after that. Hey, everybody, it's Loveline. I'm Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Wait a minute, Marcel. First I went Drew, and then I went Bruce, and then I got down to Marcel.
Third on the list.
Dr. Marcel. Yeah. Drew just likes Bruce because he's such a spaz. He knows he could never lose his job. It's why you want your wife to have a really ugly personal trainer,
right,
or Pilates teacher. You don't want some svelte six-pack apt guy from Rio, working. Or you always want people worse than you sliding in for you.
Yeah.
That's the key, everybody.
I think that's why doctors' wives want the doctors' nurses to be older.
Oh, yeah. And any wife wants the guy's secretary to be an old turd.
Yeah.
And it's the same, it's like you see it in the NFL all the time. Number one quarterback goes down for a couple weeks. Second string guy slides in. They win 3 games in a row, and the next thing you know, he's Tom Brady's never coming out of the lineup, and Drew Bledsoe's getting traded.
That's right.
Yeah. This is the way Drew operates with Dr. Bruce on this show, I figured out. He always knows we're dying to get him right back in the lineup. Yeah. And I don't mean that as a slight to Dr. Bruce. He's a dynamite individual. All right. Dr. Marcel is plastic surgeon, and tonight is the night to get those calls in with that theme.
And on that note,
Andrew has a question.
Yeah, hi.
Andrew, you're 20. What's up?
Hey, I have a new girlfriend that is absolutely perfect in every way, except she's too hairy down below.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to try and see if you guys knew a really nice way I could ask her to shave without hurting her feelings or something.
And when you say hairy down below,
yes.
Do you mean that it covers a lot of area, or the area that it's on is too long?
It covers, it's not up to her belly button or anything, but it covers a lot of area, and it's a little too long also.
Mm-hmm.
It gets in the way.
Does she do anything right now?
Does she what?
Does she do any form of grooming down there right now?
No, that's the thing. It looks pretty untapped.
She does zero.
Yeah.
How long have you been going out?
We just kind of started. It's been a week.
Well, what happens well, you don't know, but during the summer, she must have to, she's going to put a bathing suit on.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I'm assuming, I don't know, I mean, I just don't know what to do now, though.
Yeah, though, we haven't actually had this one in a while. I don't know. How old is she?
She's 18.
I didn't know there's an 18-year-old American female live who wasn't hip to that sort of crotch
landing
grooming
strip.
Thing anymore. She's got to be exposed to pornography, and now, or yesterday. But what if you? This is retarded. You ever take a shower together?
Not yet.
Because you can do that. Like we're taking a shower, and it's
make it kind of a fun.
Yeah, you get out. You do a little work on each other. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I was thinking about one time, when it's dark or something, when, we're getting together and, secretly bring a razor and all of a sudden just pull down our pants and scare, but I don't think that'd be a good idea.
No.
No.
No, you won't be getting any that night.
Probably not.
No. Why don't you tell her, just tell her, look, it gets in the way.
Or just tell her it's a turn-on if, she was shaved.
Yeah, here's the problem with women, though. Whenever you go, it'd be a turn-on if you did this, they hear it as it's a turn-off the way I currently am.
Gotcha, yeah.
They do reverse negative
Must
math.
be why I'm still single.
Yeah, they're very negative that way. It'd look really, if you lost 10 pounds, it'd be really hot. If you did whatever it is that you're not currently doing or haven't done, it'd be a real turn-on. But they just, and they're kind of right, because it's hard to argue with the math, because the way they are is not in the turn-on.
We're supposed to be accepting.
Yeah, but let's face it. All right, just tell her. Or just make a game out of it. Debbie?
Yes.
What's up? You're 42.
Yes. Hi, Adam. First, I want to say I love you, and I think you're hilarious.
Great.
My question is for the doctor.
Okay.
Okay. Dr. Marcel?
Yeah.
I am 42, and I have had 2 children. And with my first one, you couldn't even tell I had a baby. But with my second one, 8 years ago, I've just never been able to get as thin as I once was. And I just have kind of like a pooch down there.
Right.
And what I was wondering is, and I also lost a breast size. I went from a C cup to a B. And
maybe that's what's in the pooch.
I think so. But I just wondered if getting liposuction was the best thing for me, or to get a breast implant, if that would help to stretch the skin and make my waist thinner again.
You would be talking about implants the size of the Hindenburg.
Oh, really?
In order to have that much of a stretch on tissue that low.
All right. Now we're talking. Yeah.
Now, a lot of what you need or don't need will depend on what your skin tone is like. And if it's just a bit of a pooch, probably liposuction will make a nice difference if you've got decent skin tone. If your skin tone isn't that good, or if there's a little too much skin sag, you may actually need to have some of that skin removed, either a mini tummy tuck or a full tummy tuck.
I don't have any stretch marks from either one of my children, which is great.
That's a good sign.
That's what I thought. And what should I look for in a doctor in my area that I live? What should I look for?
Well, what I'll tell you is it's actually a pet peeve of mine, in that because managed care has taken a big hit out of regular medicine, you have a lot of people that are going into elective procedures as a way to make a living. And
they become they take a crash course.
Right.
And they specialize in some procedure.
They take a weekend course, and it's like suddenly I know how to do liposuction, or suddenly I'm a laser specialist. And I don't mind anybody doing some of the things that I do. I just want them to have the right type of background and training and take it really seriously. If I'm an anesthesiologist and I suddenly decide I want to become a cosmetic surgeon, call myself that, because I've had such limited extra training, maybe I know how to do liposuction. Well, I guarantee you come into my office, you might need a facelift because all I know how to do is liposuction. I'm going to look at you and go, yeah, I think liposuction would really help here.
Right.
It's kind of like if your only tool is a hammer, all the world is a nail.
Right.
So what I tell everyone is never just get one opinion. Check the credentials of the physician that's offering to do anything to you. Make sure that they've got a formal residency in plastic surgery, something that's recognized by the American Board of Medical Specialties.
And so, in other words, not that they were working in another field, took that weekend course, bought the machinery or leased the machinery, and are now specializing in lasers or plastic surgery, that they are plastic surgeons.
Right. I mean, that's your best chance. I mean, granted, there's no field that's immune from having bad doctors, and I'm not saying that all plastic surgeons are great doctors, but that's why I tell people never only get one opinion. Get 2 or 3, check the credentials. You can call local hospitals and find out from their medical staff people who in the community are legitimate physicians that have got good career reputations and whatnot, and then pick the one that you feel is going to take the best care of you.
All right, let's move forward and speak to someone who's a little bit younger. Jake?
Yeah?
You're 20?
Yeah.
You got a tattoo of your ex-girlfriend's name when you were drunk? And
Yeah.
Now you want it removed?
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Oh, I've had friends that have done this, and they're still there,
really,
and they're
really
remarried. I got it. One of my best buddies has his ex on his ankle, and he's been remarried for like 6 years.
It's a lot worse than an ankle.
It is?
Where is it?
It's right there on that one spot that it really, really shouldn't be.
Your penis?
Yeah.
No way. Bogus.
I was completely and totally drunk.
It's still bogus.
Yeah, there's no
tattoo artist that's going to give you a tattoo on your
like
penis
right
when you're
along,
loaded.
It's not right along the penis, it's like right along the edge.
Yeah. This is basically, I just spent 3 days doing this in Vegas. This is the back pedal.
You think it's the Ticonderoga, New York tattoo? You know, tiny sometimes in Ticonderoga, New York, other times. Right.
No, that's bogus. See, it's the classic prank call. You start backpedaling when the person, it's on the penis, and then when you go bogus, they go, oh, well, it's not on the penis, not shaft per se, but it's certainly in the neighborhood. No, don't buy it. Let's talk to Tatiana, who's 14.
Hi.
Hey.
Yeah, I love you, Adam.
Oh, thanks. Well, wait, hold on a second. That being said, just for anyone else who wants a tat removed, is they do it with the laser these days.
Yeah, laser tattoo removal is actually pretty effective. It's certainly better in light-skinned people, African American and Hispanic, because it also can destroy pigment. Sometimes you have, the ghost image of the tattoo.
Right.
Black tattoos come out best. Blue comes out pretty good. The colors sometimes take a lot more treatments to make them go away pretty well.
Black ink comes out better.
The best. Yeah.
The laser just affects it. It breaks it up better.
Right. Well, lasers are single wavelengths of light that are hyper stimulated, and depending upon the wavelength of light that's stimulated, it will interact with a preferred target. And the lasers that interact with black pigment interact very selectively with that, and so you get the pigment particles. They get broken up, and your body digests them. The reason tattoos usually don't go away in people, the little bits are too big for your body to get rid of on its own. The laser shocks them, breaks them up, and your body digests them. So black is by far the best color, or the best ink to get rid of.
Right, and then blue
is good. The other colors, red, yellow, green, those can be tougher, and anyone that's considering getting laser removal of a tattoo should make sure that the person has a lot of experience with the laser. You have to understand it's not something that's going to be one time. It can often take anywhere from 3, 4, 6, 10, 12 sessions. And they're a month apart. It's going to cost you a hell of a lot more to get that tattoo removed than it did to get it put on.
And back in the day, I knew a guy who had a tat removed 15 years ago. They would cut it out or something, wouldn't they? I mean, what would they do? I mean,
you didn't have a
horrible,
choice.
Keloid scarring on it. I mean, no, but it's like the tat's gone, but it looks like someone took silly putty, balled it up, and mashed it where the tat was.
Well, you got to understand, having a tattoo in some areas or cultures or workplaces is considered taboo or is really looked down upon. And a lot of people would prefer a scar that they can explain away, saying they were in an accident or something over a tattoo.
I know. I mean, I understand that, but I mean, it wouldn't really be acceptable in other facets of life. Like if you wanted to get the color of your car, you want to get your car painted from white to green, but they took a hammer to it and then painted it. You know what I mean? I mean, they F up the skin royally. I mean, back in the day. I mean, it would not be worth it.
You can still scar with the laser. You got to be careful.
Tatiana, sorry, you're 14?
That's all right. Yeah, I'm 14, and for some reason, last year at the end of, like, junior high, at this party, I hooked up with this guy I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up doing some stuff, and then he wouldn't admit it at school.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and all of his, like, friends would, like, think I'm crazy.
Well, why would... There's two reasons for guys not admitting it. One is having a girlfriend.
No, he didn't have a girlfriend.
Uh-oh. Well, then the second one is less flattering, which is there's something up with you. You got a reputation for being a little kooky or something?
No, I don't. It's just that he was with, like, a totally different crowd of friends, and then his friends hated me.
Really?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Anything?
No, his friends are, like, well, I was hanging out with more the preppy people, and he was with, like, the punky people.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, the two, like, groups kind of clashed.
The punk and the preps. You're punk, right?
No.
You're prep?
I don't really classify myself. I'm neither.
Because I'm like a surfer, and Marcel's a soch. And
no.
we kind of had to lay it down the first time.
Yeah, I had to call you out.
Yeah, and then Anderson's a biker, and Ann was a greaser, and I think Brian was a punk, and then security guard Andy was a prep.
There were sharks and jets.
There were some sharks
too.
and some jets. It was a real mess, but we all realized that underneath, our jackets with our names written in them, and we're all just human beings. And so which one are you, Tatiana?
Well, I guess I'm, like, between prep and punk.
All right, so that's just normal, right, then?
Yeah, I'm pretty normal.
All right, well, anyway, you fooled around with this guy. He doesn't seem to like you. He just wanted to fool around with you.
Well, yeah, and what happened is a few days ago, we hooked up again.
Mm-mm.
And now I'm really confused because I really like him, and, like, when we're on the phone, he's, like, the greatest guy, but around his friends, he, like, acts like he hates me.
How old is he?
14.
And is he something?
What do you mean?
Prep, punk, soc?
Yeah, he's, like, total punk.
He's total punk.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be a lot of posturing there in front of his friends.
Yeah, I mean, that's all punks do, is they just sort of gesture and posture.
Yeah,
and
all his friends do is, like, they go out and vandalize, and, like, they think they're all, like, the best people in the world.
Yeah.
And they hate everyone else.
Yeah, well, maybe this isn't the world's greatest guy. Maybe you don't need to. I mean, I know he's dangerous, and he's tough, and parents would hate you going out with him and everything, so he's very alluring to you, but you can't see past this a little bit.
Well,
and these guys are just, first off, here's the thing about punks, for the most part, pussies. They're just pussies who look tough, but they're really try to play a little hoop with these guys or something. They look like chicks. Try to play softball. Have a punk throw you a football. He looks like a chick throwing a football. Easy ass kicking, but they look tough because they wear, like, a lot of chains and leather and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, around
so they're really just sort of pussies or hiding behind a bunch of spiked hair and boots and stuff, right?
Yeah, but on me, he's, like, the sweetest person, and that's why, like, when we're alone, and, like, he calls me all the time, I call him, and we spend hours.
I know, but then he hangs around with his friends, and he has to sort of strike the punk posture.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, all right, so you got to change it. But how about finding a guy you don't have to change so much?
Well,
you're 14.
I'm really in love with this guy, though.
Well, it's going to be trouble. And what base did you get to with him? You what?
I've done it.
You had sex with him? Oh, these little punks. Literally. You had sex with this guy?
Yeah.
All right, that's enough of that. You're 14. You understand?
Yeah?
Don't do that.
Are you on the pill?
No.
You're going to get pregnant and give birth to
a
Johnny
punk.
Rotten. Yeah.
No. I make sure everything was safe.
Why?
Well, how can you make sure?
Use a condom?
Yeah.
They break.
Yeah. You got to get on the pill if you're going to be having sex, Tatiana. But you're too young. That's enough. Oh, you're calling from Van Nuys?
Yeah.
Oh, Christ almighty.
Okay.
All right, listen. Just, look, listen, all you screwed up chicks. Oh, Jesus. You guys are, all women do is complain that there's no decent guys out there, but yet they shun the decent.
Right.
They make a mockery of the decent man. The guy who goes to his classes and respects his elders, who is seen and not heard, like I was when I was in high school. Always my nose in a book, studying hard, opening doors for women, throwing down my overcoat. If there was a puddle, young ladies could step onto my overcoat. I was Sir Walter Raleigh. Zero. Translated into zero ass.
Yeah.
But the punk guy, the guy with the chip on his shoulder, he's pissed off all the time. Oh, I got to break through. I got to get to him.
He's got a sensitive side.
There's a real side to him that I got to know. Why all this? It's like a lottery ticket. You just got to keep scraping away until I can get the right numbers on this guy. Maybe next week. And listen, that's what these guys are doing, you idiots. This is all part of the rap.
That's right. That's why guys go into bands.
Dumb broads going for that crap. Just find a nice geeky guy. Please. It's really, you could really do your part for society and blow a geek. You know what I mean? These are the guys who are going to be paying the taxes in the future. These are going to be the doctors, the attorneys. These are the guys who are going to be the captains of industry. They're going to fuel this great economy of ours. They keep this country number one. All these guys, really from politicians to the captains of industry to the technological innovators to the inventors to the astronauts, all geeks, and had to get by with no sex through high school. Come on, ladies, do your part. It's like for the war effort.
That's right.
All right, we'll take a little break. Dr. Marcel filling in for Dr. Drew, and we'll be right back. Hey, everybody, it's Loveline. I'm Adam. That's Dr. Marcel filling in for Dr. Drew tonight. He'll be back tomorrow night. He's in New York. He's going to do Good Morning America tomorrow. Dr. Marcel is an expert in the field of plastic surgery and just seems to know a hell of a lot more about doctoring than Drew does. I rarely get a straight or decent answer out of that guy when it comes to anything. He goes right to the worst case scenario. He's more like a Jewish grandmother than he is a doctor. And everything I ever discussed with him, he's been 100% wrong every time. So it's nice to have Dr. Marcel in here. I was just talking to him about my hands and the difficulties I'm having. Look at this knuckle. It's all sticking up, all weird. And really, I'm gonna have to get like a hand transplant in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find a young hobo.
Oh yeah.
Kill him and take his hands. That'd be that Frankenstein thing. I'll just wear long sleeves and like a wristwatch. I'll be fine.
Oh, no.
Amber, you could do that, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're 23?
Yeah.
You want to break up your suicidal boyfriend?
Yeah.
Is he currently suicidal?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, he wanted me to drop him off in a wooded area at like 11:30 at night and told me to take all his stuff. He didn't need it anymore. And it took me like 45 minutes to calm him down.
What was he going to do in the wooded area?
I don't know. But it was 25 miles from anywhere. I don't know. There's a big river. Goes into a waterfall area, and I don't know. He didn't know. I don't know what he was thinking.
Nice.
And we have a child together.
Oh, that's delightful.
Yeah, and I just can't be with him anymore because he's really stressful, because he doesn't have a stable place to live. So I'm constantly trying to, help him out with that and giving him money. But I'm also a single mom, and I go to school full time and I work full time.
All right. Well, here's what you got to do with anybody who's, obviously you can't stay with someone because they're threatening to kill themselves. But if they do threaten to kill themselves, you got to just call the cops. I mean, this is like calling a bomb threat into the airport. I don't care if it sounds like Beavis or Butthead is on the other line. If somebody calls and says there's a bomb, you just got to act like there's a bomb.
Well, there's a problem with that. I've thought about doing that, but...
Calling the airport?
No.
All right, I've lost myself in my own analogy.
I thought about calling the police, but me and him had domestic violence issues in the past when he was an alcoholic, and there is currently, until I go to court, there's no contact order between us, and he'll get 30 months this time.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe he needs it. I mean, he's not cleaned up, has he?
Well, he's sober.
He is.
Yes.
Is he going to meetings?
No, he
doesn't have a sponsor.
Does he have a therapist?
Incarcerated for like 6 months, and then after that, I guess he just didn't have that, craving anymore to drink.
Yeah, he's got. As Drew would say, though, that's not sober. He's just not participating, but he's not participating in his sobriety.
Yeah, he smokes a lot of weed, but
that ain't sober. Yeah. Listen, he's got to get in the program. He's got to do the 12-step thing.
And you can't be codependent.
Yeah, but how do I tell him that without him saying, well, if you want this family to work? I've been trying with this guy for 2 years.
Yeah, well, forget it. He has to be. You got to go to Al-Anon, and he's got to go to like MA or AA or something that's got an A somewhere in it in order to do this. It's not going to do it. This guy needs to get help. That's it. You understand? You got a kid now. Stop effing around.
Right.
You're going to screw this kid up worse than you got screwed up.
Right.
And that's going to be bad. Now, you understand? Don't screw the kid up, please. Stop dancing with this guy. You know what he needs to do. He's got to get sober. And what was your dad, an alcoholic?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then you got to go to your Al-Anon or whatever the hell it is.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Do it, would you?
Okay.
You've known this for a long time. You're going to screw your kid up. You're well on your way.
Okay.
Thanks. All right. Good times. Got to take a quick break. Hey, everybody. It's Loveline. I'm Adam. That's Dr. Marcel. Dr. Marcel is filling in quite nicely for Dr. Drew. Dr. Marcel went to USC Medical School with Dr. Drew, right?
Yep.
And you guys were you roommates then?
Yeah, 1 year we were roommates.
Were you in dorms or off campus?
No, he lived in a condo.
Oh, Drew.
Oh, yeah.
What a life that son of a bitch
he had it all.
Good looking,
worked out a lot, buff.
Yeah, all tan. Used to had his folks, not tan? I thought his folks had that place out by the beach. He'd do some lifeguarding during the summer. Oh, yeah. Real,
singing opera. No, he had it all, man.
Yeah, ladies liked him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they still do.
That's right.
Everyone but his wife. she's a tough lady. Tough lady. Mike is 43. Mike?
Hey, Adam.
What's up?
Got a Loveline classic for you tonight.
Great.
I'm a longtime Loveline listener and a law enforcement officer in the Chicago suburbs.
Great.
Tonight I pull up on a Volvo in a darked-out parking lot, and a 17-year-old guy and 18-year-old girl, as Bob Eubanks once said, making whoopee.
Wow. And how could you tell? Like, why did you originally approach the car?
The parks are closed after dusk.
Uh-huh.
So I just pulling in and just making a pass through, making sure everything's okay. And you could see, heads bobbing in the back seat and bare butts showing up. And so I go up to the car just to make sure everybody's there of their own free will.
Right.
And they're listening to Loveline.
Really?
Were they inspired by Loveline, you think?
Well, I hope so, because, condoms were in use. And I made sure that they were aware of the morning after pill.
Really? Are you serious?
The fact that you inspected them enough to know that condoms were in use kind of scares me.
And it was ribbed, as a matter of fact.
That I'm not sure of. It just there was packaging around.
I see. You saw that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And then what did you do? You didn't give them a citation or anything, did you?
No, I just told them the park was closed and to go somewhere else and do it.
And now, how did you find out their age? They just volunteered? Did you check their ID?
Checked ID, just to make sure everything was legal.
And that's, is it legal for a 17-year-old guy and 18-year-old girl in Illinois?
It certainly is.
Oh, yeah, well, good times. And I'm glad they're listening to Loveline. This is fantastic. Hey,
I was very impressed.
Let me ask you something, officer. And as you know, I love the city of Chicago, and I seem to like all cops better than L.A. cops because, I don't know, and you tell me what you know, Mike, and I'm probably going to get beaten on my way home tonight, but I I've not had a bunch of experience in Chicago, but I've been to New York many times, and the cops will stand around on the corner, and people will jaywalk right in front of the cops, and the cops don't do a thing because these aren't criminals. They're like cats that aren't going to pounce because there's no mouse running by. It's just the owner walking by. And then one time I was in New Orleans, and I was driving in New Orleans, and every time I'm such a pussy because I'm from L.A., and when you're from L.A. and you're with somebody who's from New York and they try to jaywalk and there's a cop around, you're like, no, look out. No, don't do that. No, he's going to yell. We're going to get into trouble. If you feel like a kid, it's like you're living on a giant, like when you live in L.A., you live in a giant schoolyard and you're the kid and the cops are the teachers. And I was in Louisiana. I was in New Orleans once, and I was driving with this guy who was giving us a tour in a van. And there was a cop driving behind us, and the guy who was in the van was going like 10 miles an hour faster than the speed limit. And I was like, there's a cop behind us. There's a cop behind us. He goes, yeah, I know. I go, he's going to get us into trouble. He's going to pull us over. And the guy goes, hey, he's got bigger fish to fry than guys in tour vans. And don't worry about that. And I was like, and then I thought, yes, it must be nice. It must be nice these people live in other cities that don't have to worry about these chicken-ass jaywalking tickets constantly and getting pulled over for going 4 miles an hour faster than the speed limit or rolling through a four-way stop sign when there's no other cars around. It must be nice not to just get nickeled and dimed that way constantly. What a liberating experience it must be to live in Louisiana and be able to go 6 miles an hour faster than the speed limit with a cop behind you and not worry about getting pulled over, or cross the street in New York and not worry about a jaywalking ticket. Mike, do you find that L.A. has a reputation for more of that kind of stuff than the rest of the country?
I know some L.A. cops, and I've never really come across them, dealing with the nitpicky stuff like that. I'll tell you my own personal experience is that when I'm driving down the road in a police car and somebody's doing like the speed limit right in front of me, that frustrates me more than somebody doing
Yes. Yeah, it's like when you see those bumper stickers that tell them to have a sober graduation and safe and sane and all that. That's pure ass kissing, right? Support your local police department. Aren't they just trying to get a pass on a ticket at that point?
Oh, I don't even pay attention to that stuff. It's just that I've got places to go. I can't be behind somebody doing the speed limit.
Good. So you don't pull anyone over for that chicken ass stuff that they do out here.
Definitely not.
All right, but this friend of yours, these L.A. cops, they didn't work the Burbank area.
No, I don't.
No, because the Burbank area is where you get the jaywalking ticket in the crosswalk, and the guy tells me the light was flashing. That's why he's giving me the ticket. Can you imagine that chicken ass?
I couldn't.
Oh.
That's a guy on a power trip.
Yeah, well, don't worry, I beat it. But now I want to sue them. All right, so, Mike, you're doing the Lord's work over there. And let me ask you one more quick question about being a cop.
Ask away.
I'm always curious, who sets your route? And I know you do for the most part, but you have sort of a beat, right?
Correct.
Do you mix it up? Or can we expect to see it the same place at the same time every night?
As I learned in the academy, you do it very unconventionally conventional.
Right. So in your mind, it would have a code or cadence, but if I was just a neighborhood person, I wouldn't expect to find you or see you at a certain place at a certain time.
That's correct.
All right. That's it. Keeps the perps off balance.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Keeping the perps off balance. Oh, the guys I want to kill. None of us. Here's the guys, and listen, if there's any of you people listening, please just take your motorcycle and go right off the cliff, because here's the people I'm talking about. Drew and I like to yap on the phone on the way home every night, because we're like a newlywed couple, me and Drew.
Nice.
We usually talk smack about the guest. But
that's beautiful.
Yeah, Drew, we get in the car and Drew's like, did you see that guy's pupils? And I'm like, what are pupils? He's like, sizes of saucers. And I'm like, I never notice anyone's pupils. I can't tell if they're big or they're small. Oh, he was high. He was high as a guy.
Under the influence.
He was under. And I'm like, all right, well, he seemed like a nice guy to me. But Drew and I speak every night just about on the ride home from Loveline, and we always take the freeway. And we're speeding down the freeway, doing about 80, 85, because it's the middle of the night and it's not too crowded. And come up on a guy who pretty sure is a motorcycle cop just from the silhouette in the distance. It's at night. These are the guys who ride the cop bikes they buy at the police auction.
Right.
And, all right, I understand. Maybe you want the 1,000cc Moto Guzzi or Kawasaki, and you can get this bike cheap, and it's got the fairing built into it. Fine. Don't wear the goddamn two-tone helmet that the cops wear.
Yeah.
Now you're impersonating a cop. And I know they're doing it on purpose. I want to kill these guys. And this guy's up there, and the entire freeway is behind this guy because this a-hole is doing 57. And he knows it. He's wearing the black jacket. He's wearing the two-tone cop lid with the little visor on it. And he has the cop bike that he bought at police auction. But there's something, your mind's kind of just like, you can tell, like, there's the little thing. You're not seeing the holster. You're not seeing the light on the back, the siren on the back of the bike or the side saddles. Like, you don't see the billy club sticking out of the thing on the bike. Like, but you're not bold enough to go whizzing past this guy. He's at least half a cop. Like, so it's like you slow down, I'm talking to Drew on the phone. I'm going, there's a cop up here, Drew. Watch out. Slow it down. And the guy's going 57. And there's a wall of people behind him because it's 12:30 at night, and there's, the Santa Monica freeway. And this guy it's like he's driving the pace car at the Indy 500. There's nobody in front of him. And everyone's stacked up behind him. And I start coming up on the guy, and I realize this guy's not a cop. And I get pissed, and I go blowing past him. And as I blow past him, I look in my rear view, and a half mile behind me, I just see a wall of lights where this guy's bike is, and nobody would dare go past him. And I thought, obviously he's aware of this.
To run him off the road?
He deserves just vigilante justice. I mean, he deserves to be beaten. And I hate these guys, and I know they're doing it on purpose. And if anyone is within the sound of my voice that is doing this or consider doing it, kill yourself, please. Have some dignity and take the man's way out. Just put a shotgun in your mouth. Holding everyone up, and this big pussy going 56 miles an hour. Knowing full well what's going on. There's a whole line of people not passing him. When I got a half mile past this guy and I looked back, there was nothing in between me and him, just a whole bunch of cars all stacked up right where he was. This is what they need to feel powerful in their life. He's driving home to his mom's house so he can beat off, have a good cry, and make some top ramen. Big pussies. You kill yourselves. Have some dignity. Sorry, go ahead there, Craig.
No, thanks.
You're 30?
Sounds like the Southern California cops have everyone whipped into shape there.
Oh, my God. They should not sell these bikes or these cars at police auction. They should paint them orange before they send them out. They send all these bikes out, and now it's like having more cops. And these guys, think about the mentality of a retard who wants to drive a cop bike. You know what I mean? Here's a guy who wants to be a cop, right? So he buys the cop helmet, he buys the leather jacket, and now as far as the motorist goes, we got another cop on the road. Except for he's the cop from the Village people, but we think he's the cop at night. God damn it. It's driving me nuts. All right, go ahead, Craig. Sorry.
No problem. Don't want to get you off on a tirade again. I just want to say you, Dan, Drew, and Dr. I forgot his name.
Marcel.
Are doing great service for the kids out there.
Oh, great. Great.
And double chin. Can cosmetic surgery help with that?
Yeah, if the double chin is as a result of a pocket of fat, it usually responds real well to liposuction. Some people have real blunted necks, and it's not just fat, it's just the way your neck is shaped, and then that's a little tougher thing to improve. But you should go see someone, plastic surgeon that'll give you the sort of eval that you'd benefit from, and most likely it can be helped.
Would it, if it works, do you have to redo it after a time period?
No, you shouldn't. Once those fat cells are gone from there, they should be gone permanently unless you gain a lot of weight. But then you'd probably gain most of the weight elsewhere on your body, and your double chin would be the least of your worries.
Okay. Any price ranges on that you can think of?
It varies so much just because some people can tolerate it done under local. Some people are kind of afraid of doing it under local. They want to be asleep.
Well, now, how much more would it jack it up if you went under? Now, it's not, I used to call being asleep general, but that's not general.
It's still general, yeah.
Oh, well, let's see again. This is Drew. Drew says general's when, basically you're on a breathing apparatus.
Well, that's a general.
The local is so, like when you go to the dentist, they give you a shot in the area.
Numbs up the area. Then there's local with sedation where you get some drugs and you kind of like nod in and out, but that's not a true general.
Right, but then there's something between that in general. I mean, like if you're getting the rib spreader in and doing open heart, you're hooked up to an apparatus that is
anesthesia. Once you get to the point where your breathing is compromised, then you are put on a machine that helps you breathe.
But like when I had my hand surgery, I was knocked out, but I wasn't on.
You probably don't remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I probably had a mask on me.
Right. You had oxygen, and you were just kind of doped up.
Oh, so was that general?
No, you had sedation.
But I was out.
To the point where you were in a kind of a twilight sleep.
Right.
Just nodding along. But, yeah, you weren't so deep that your breathing was compromised. That's why you weren't put on a machine.
Right. But that's not, that wouldn't be considered local.
No.
But would it be general?
Yours was IV sedation.
So, somewhere between local and general.
Right.
All right.
Halfway.
All right. That's where I'd like to be. I mean, just in general. Yeah. All right, let's talk to Chris, who's 22. Chris?
Hey, what's going on, Adam?
What's up?
I've had acne for about 8 years, and, I'm thinking about getting laser surgery to try and remove some of the scarring. Is that possible?
Yeah, a lot will depend on what type of acne scarring it is. There's different types of acne scarring. There's ice pick scars that are the real deep ones, and laser surgery certainly does not work very well for those because they go too deep.
What does work for those? Anything?
Not much. I mean, you can cut them out sometimes and get rid of the pick part.
I thought you could give
you can
put collagen injections and sort of attempting to sort of fill them up a little bit.
Sometimes, but the type of acne that works best for laser resurfacing is the sort of acne where it's shallower, more saucer-like. Then the laser kind of sands things down and kind of levels the field.
Really?
Pretty much what I have.
Yeah. What ethnic background are you? Are you Caucasian or?
Yeah, I'm Caucasian.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're probably a real good candidate for laser resurfacing, whereas someone who was a person of color, that you have to be a lot more conservative because you're worried about pigment problems afterwards.
Yeah.
But the only down thing about laser resurfacing is you have to really factor in the downtime, and if it's done aggressively to get rid of acne scarring or to improve acne scarring, you're looking at staying in your house or apartment for about a week to 10 days because you really look bad.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Because they take the pothole and they put a bunch of red pylons around it now,
man.
right?
Yeah, your face looks pretty bad for those first 10 days, and then you're pink for anywhere from several weeks to several months.
Do they, I see a fair amount of people who have acne scars, and they must be prone to it. Like, I know people think, well, that's just bad acne, but they also must be prone to scarring because, like, I've taken like pliers to zits on my face in the past.
It depends on the type of acne.
Stuck pins in it and stuff and wrenched on it. And I don't have any scarring.
Right. You probably didn't have the real severe form of acne that does lead to scarring.
So it's not so much what you do to it as much as what kind of acne it is.
Right.
And now if you had that today, what would you just take the medication?
Myself, certainly there's a lot of treatment options for it. There's some people do topical therapy that works real well. Other people have to go on something like Accutane, which is a much more serious medication.
But Drew says there's no reason in this day and age to really have an acne problem. I mean, not that you can't have one, but what I mean is back in our day, you had an acne problem, you had an acne problem. There wasn't a lot.
Right.
But people were talking about, well, stay away from the chocolate. You know, that is the kind of nonsense we're being fed.
No, there's certainly a lot of treatment regimens, and there's a lot of effective treatments for it now. But it's still a widespread problem, and not all treatment regimens work for everybody.
But Accutane is effective if it's a bad situation?
It can be very effective, but if you're a woman of childbearing years, they don't want you on it.
Right.
You have to follow your liver enzymes. I mean, it's a serious medication. So, I mean, that would be, if it was my kid, that would be a treatment of last resort.
Well, now so what would you do, and I don't know if you have an answer to this or not, but then I'll give you my regiment. But what would you do for just your sort of basic teenage acne? Not a big problem, but, teenagers aren't going to get zits. What's the best way to minimize that?
I send them to the dermatologist.
And they just lance them and suck them up? Or?
In my line of work, I don't choose to deal with much acne.
You don't run into that?
Nah.
But you might run into the scarring?
You might run into the scarring aspect of it, but I don't make a point of managing acne in my practice.
But you have anything you've picked up or anything any of your dermatologist buddies have done?
Retin-A certainly can work because it helps dry up the skin somewhat. Certainly a more regimented facial wash using some astringent toners can help.
Yeah. I'm a lancer myself.
Nice.
I like the lance. Drew doesn't like the lance, but I'm a huge fan of the lance. I'm a constant lancer, and I don't even, I just take the needle from wherever it was. I'll pick it up off the floor, pow, right in. Never, I don't do any of that.
Sterile technique.
Hell no.
Yeah.
I've never had any problems.
Well, you're lucky.
Really?
Yeah.
If a needle's just sitting around, like in my bathroom, you think it's sterile or it's...
Well, it's certainly not sterile.
It's not sterile, but is it unsterile?
Is it horribly contaminated?
Yeah.
Probably not.
There's like a handful of fomites living on there.
Yeah,
I'd stuff those right in my face. Now, see, I got the beard and stuff. I have to pick out the ingrown hairs. And here, I get a zit. Here's what you kids got to do. Don't do it because I don't want you suing me. But I'll tell you... The best thing to do with a zit is and stop me if I'm wrong here, but the zit, it's one pore usually that gets screwed up.
Right.
And there's usually sort of the mother pore.
Right.
And I go right to the source of the problem. You find that mother pore, and you take the pin, and you can see it, and you drop it into that mother pore, and it's like piercing the outside of a grape. You can feel it's a little tough, and then there's a little prick, and then it'll drop in. And once that thing drops in...
Kids, do not try this.
Don't do this at home, but this is what I do at home. And once you drop it in the mother pore, now you've got an opening for the mother pore. And now you don't have to squeeze on it. You can actually pull it apart. You just sort of drain the main pore there. And then Oxy 10. Just that benzoyl peroxide. Big dabs of it. You got a bad zit, drop it right on there. It works like a charm. All right, let's take a little break. Dr. Marcel is our guest tonight. He is a plastic surgeon, so if you have questions of that nature, probably tonight's the night to ask. Dr. Drew going to be in tomorrow night, and we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, it's Loveline. I'm Adam. Tonight's guest, Dr. Marcel, filling in for Dr. Drew. Dr. Marcel is a fantastic plastic surgeon. And as I've been saying with Dr. Drew over in New York doing Good Morning America, he's out of the picture until tomorrow night. Dr. Marcel is a fine plastic surgeon, and I know a lot of you have questions about that, so why don't we just steer it that direction tonight and make the best use of Marcel. All right, so let's talk to Ray, who's 22. Ray?
Yeah.
What's up?
Well, basically, I'm interested in what's involved in a breast lift. I'm not really heavy, but I have kind of big boobs, and I think they point down too much. I'd prefer if they were perkier.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'4".
What do you weigh?
About 135, 140.
Okay. Do you have any kids?
No, but what my question, I really want to know is, if I had that done, would I be able to nurse? Because I do want to have kids.
Yeah. No, you'd most likely be able to nurse because there's no ducts that are going to get cut if you needed a lift. But whether or not you need a lift is going to be determined by the position of your nipple. And if your nipple is above the level of the crease of your breast, you probably don't need a lift. You might just benefit from an implant.
The crease, meaning the under...
Right.
Part?
What's called the inframammary crease, where you do that pencil test that, Ann Landers and Dear Abby have talked about for years.
Right.
See if you hold a pencil up?
Yeah, well, that's it. That's the test if you should wear a bra or not.
Oh, I see.
But if your nipple is at or below the level of that crease, you might need a lift.
And now, what's the lift?
You have to remove skin.
Which
involves some scarring.
From the top part
From
of the
above.
breast?
Yeah.
I thought
Kinda
we were
cinch it
talking
up.
once. I thought we had a conversation many years ago about the breast lift, and you were saying, well, they have reductions and they have enlargements, but they don't really have lifts.
No, there's true lifts, but it all just involves removing skin. Instead, reductions, you're removing skin and breast tissue.
Right.
Lifts, you're just snugging things up and positioning the nipple higher.
So is it physically as if you took a clamp and clamped the skin, like pulled the skin up that was on the chest between like the person's chin and the nipple?
Well, no, not quite like that, but you do remove skin above the nipple, and you reposition the nipple into the area where you've removed the skin.
By sort of pulling it? Or do you remove it?
You remove the skin.
No, but I mean the nipple.
No, the nipple stays attached. It just gets moved up.
And as far as a breast lift versus like breast augmentation or breast reduction, it's a less of a procedure?
Well, it's a skin-only procedure.
Right.
So the recovery is typically pretty quick. The shape of a breast is determined by two things, basically, the skin envelope and what fills it out. And that's a lot of what plastic surgeons are trying to do when you're doing either a lift or sometimes it's a lift with a small implant to give the woman that sort of fullness that they're looking for.
Right.
Everybody is different. There's no one way of doing it, and that's why I tell everyone, get more than one opinion, because you might be surprised. You're going to be told of a few different approaches to what you might think is only one way of doing it.
All right, so, but would a lift, and I know there's many variations, but a lift versus reduction or augmentation, half the price?
No.
Standard lift versus standard?
Standard lift still involves a lot of sewing and everything, so it's not something that's given away.
But it is cheaper than a reduction? Less involved?
It is less involved. Reduction usually is covered by insurance.
Ah, so you just go ahead and jack the hell out of everything.
Not anymore.
Oh,
man. Anymore, buddy boy. Managed care is
really
killing me.
Drew never stops bitching about that, too. Drew's always like, I have 22 years of college, and I get paid.
No,
Yeah,
we could get off on that, but
I know. You're you're both bitter men.
I know. Bitter party of one.
But Drew's really bitter because he's dealing with the old Jews all the time. At least you got like
I got the strippers.
You got like strippers and trophy wives coming your way. Tom?
Yes.
You're 18?
Yeah, I am.
What's up? Marcel, a passionate man as well, by the way. I imagine that when you and Drew were shacked up, there's a lot of passion in that condo. I mean, you being a man of great passion yourself, and Drew being a passionate man.
Drew was like the ideal roommate. He was rarely there.
Yeah, he was spreading his passion.
He was.
Around the campus.
He was a passionate man. Drew, I love you, brother, if you're listening.
Oh, Drew would make a great roommate. He's a great guy. He's very easy to get along with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no trouble. Tom?
Yeah.
You're 18. What's up?
Yeah, I have a question for Dr. Marcel.
All right.
I've been working out for like a year now or so. I lost about 70 pounds, and I'm actually pretty good shape as far as my arms, chest, abs are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have the handles of love, and I just cannot get rid of those. I've had trainers work with me for months, and they're just not going away.
How tall are you?
I'm about 6'2".
What do you weigh?
208. I weighed myself tonight.
Okay, so kind of still a little big.
No,
right?
Actually,
no, all muscle.
I'm not. Yeah. There's my shoulders on my biceps are probably 16, 17 inches. I mean, as far as working out, I'm a pretty big guy, muscle concerned.
Well, then, if they're true love handles, and the way you'd know if there's fat in there, you pinch the area, and it's that pinch an inch. If you can pinch a thickness greater than an inch, the difference between two layers of skin is what's the fat that's in between them. So there is some fat in there, and certainly liposuction could help that a lot.
Yeah, I got to get that too.
there wouldn't be any like long-term, like if I take my shirt off, like at the beach or anything, they're like, oh, that guy had lipo.
No, not if it's done right.
No?
No, there's the scars, such as they are, little poke holes through the skin. They're all of a quarter-inch. They're going to heal as fine lines. No one's going to see that.
Yeah, tell me you were attacked by bat or something if anybody wants to know.
No, if it's done right, if it's not done foolishly, and if it's done by someone with any level of experience, you'll be real happy with the result.
What's that procedure run?
For love handles?
Yeah.
Varies from part of the country to part of the country.
Yeah.
Depends on if it's done under, once again, if it's done under local. I was trained as a surgeon, so I have a real low threshold for using general anesthetic. I just like the whole control issue of not having the patient, move around and not feel anything. And so it runs a little more to do it under general, but you have a lot more control. You can be more aggressive.
How much more? How much is it just to farm out, for general to put you under? Doing something like this.
If you're going to have an anesthetist put somebody asleep, it can vary. They charge based on the length of the procedure.
Right.
So if it's a couple-hour procedure, it might be $600-700.
Yeah. They took my underpants when they were doing my hand surgery, and they had me stretched out. I was like Jesus. I was spread out, and they took my arm and they taped it to this. Basically, the piece of wood they give you underneath the 6-foot sub. When you buy the 6-foot sub, they give you that 1x6 plank that's a 6-footer. Right. It's just sort of like a dog-eared piece of redwood fencing. And it spread out because they didn't want me to flop my arm around. I was all right with that part, but they give you that gown that ties up in the back, and you're pretty well doped up. And I had a huge cast on my left hand, so obviously you're not going to reach behind yourself when you're completely doped up with a huge cast on your hand and retie your gown because your hairy ass is now hanging out in front of God and everybody. But I said to the guy, how about let me keep my underpants? He said, no, we're going to have to collect those. And I said, really? If something goes wrong, I couldn't just have just an ounce of dignity? And he said, no, we're going to need those.
Really?
And I said, well, why do you need my underpants? You're working on my hand. How much further away could my hand get from my balls? I really can't have my underpants? And they're like, well, the thing is your underpants may have some
metallic
nylon or elastic or some sort of fiber in it, and that could it could catch on fire.
Go up like a human torch.
That's right. And you know what I said? Where do I sign? I'm ready to sign something that says if my balls go up like the Branch Davidian headquarters over there, the Waco house with all the crazy nut jobs, and if my nuts go up that way, I will not sue you, but give me the waiver. And they're like, well, we don't have the waiver. And I'm like, I want the waiver. This is all I want out of society. This is what the lawyers are doing to us. Uh-huh. See, I can't wear my underpants. There's 1 in a billion chance my nuts are going to catch on fire when they're performing hand surgery. But because of the 1 in a billion, I can't have my underpants. Well, here's what I'm saying. I want my underpants. I'm willing to take the risk. Let me sign the waiver, and then you can work on the hands, and I can have my goddamn underpants on.
Yeah?
I don't like being put under without my underpants. It's weird. You're lying on your back. They strap you down. There's 8 people you never seen before standing in front of you, and some guy wrestling your underpants away from you. It's like you went some really bad frat party.
I have castration anxiety.
I'm on my back. If I was on my stomach, maybe, but I want my underpants. Why can't it's more the principle. Why can't I have my underpants?
I would have let you keep your underpants on.
That's what I like about you, Marcel. You're either trying to coax people out of their underpants, when you're not working, but when you're on the job, you let them have their underpants.
Yeah.
And their dignity. Your underpants is all you have when they put you under, by the way. That's it. That's all you got. It's not like you got a Leatherman and a Swiss Army knife or your favorite teddy bear, your car keys. You got nothing. You got your underpants. That's all you have. That's all, to your name, that's all you have. And they wrestle that away from you.
Boxers or briefs?
I like wearing the midways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All I'm saying, just give me the waiver. Just give me the waiver where I sign away the rights to my nuts catching fire. Anthony?
Yeah.
You're 31?
Yeah, 31. I just wonder how graphic can you be on the radio?
I don't know.
Oh,
Yes, we'll find out.
Why?
Well, me, basically, I mean, do you want me to cut it short, or you want me to tell you the whole...
Well, don't use the S word or the F word.
Oh, well, basically, you know, I'm a lead at a company where I have an employee that's been after me for, you know, I mean, I'm born and raised in, you know, the United States, and she was born in Puerto Rico or whatever. And I'm 31, she's 45.
You sound like a delight, by the way, Anthony. I mean, just sort of initial vibe.
You know,
yeah.
She's been, you know, innuendos, you know, after work, let's go have a sex party, and let's go do this, let's go do that. Let's go.
I'm not sure if that's innuendo, by the way. Let's have a sex party.
Well, I mean, you know, then just saying, give me a kiss, you know, outright.
Yeah.
You know.
No, this is a coworker?
Yeah, a coworker.
You're not worried about sexual harassment?
Yeah, I had a talk last week that the thing is they, you know, they said that, you know, maybe she could turn it around and say it was sexual harassment against me and this and that.
Well, wait a minute. Are you her boss?
I'm her boss. And she basically...
Hold on a second. I'm having difficulty picturing Anthony in charge of anybody. Are you having... I can't conjure that in my mind's eye, like Anthony walking out in front of a group of people and going, all right, now listen, here's what we're doing today.
Yeah, I'm not quite on that.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him I could see him in charge of maybe a prison road gang or something, but I couldn't see him not at the workplace.
What it was is how it started.
Is this a factory?
Yeah, it's
is there forklifts?
Recycling center.
Recycling.
And
so it's coming into focus now. Coming into focus.
And
she's in charge of a clear glass.
Well, she just helps customers out and stuff like that.
At the recycling center.
Yeah.
That's basically a bunch of bums pulling their shopping carts in all day, right?
Exactly.
All right. Hold on. Okay, now.
The picture's getting clear.
It's coming into focus. Okay. Now I can see him in charge of a handful of guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, basically, it's like, you know, she's been, you know...
Coming on to you.
And what does she do? So she works in the office over there.
No, she works outside.
She works by the scales?
Yeah, scales and this and that.
Right.
And basically, you know, in the past, about 2 weeks ago, we just started, automatically, she just started arguing with me about, you know...
okay, well, hold on a second. You're a single guy, right?
Yeah, I'm single.
Yeah, and you're not attracted to her?
Basically, no, I'm not.
You're not?
But...
Well, might you think about doing something with her?
No, I've been alone for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So...
I'll tell you, it's a noble life, the life of the recycler, but it's a lonely life. It's like being a superhero in many ways.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's only for profit, though, when it comes down to the basis. You know what I mean?
Right. You're not here to save the rainforest. You got a cable bill to pay. Yes.
Yeah,
that's right. You're a realist that way.
I'm a realist. You know, it's all about profit. But
the ladies like you?
Well, yeah, they do. I mean, basically,
not the 45-year-old Puerto Ricans. I mean the other ladies.
Well, there's only a few ladies that live there. I mean, that work there.
Right.
And the rest of the Mexicans are mad that, you know, because, well, basically she went in my office. We were fighting for 2 weeks. She went in my boss's office, didn't tell me anything, and started bawling and saying that, you know, because how I've been hurt in the past because I have two kids with a woman that, you know, tore my heart out and this and that. And when I give somebody one chance, and usually that's all it takes. I gave her one chance, and she fought with me for like 2 weeks over.
All right. Anthony, hold on. Where are your two kids?
They're out in Tillamook County.
All right.
They're out Reading way, you know, with their mother.
How often do you see them?
Twice a year. Their birthday and Christmas.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And plus last time I seen him, my father died August 8th this year. And when they were down here visiting. And, well, I don't want to get...
all right. Well, listen.
The Loveline.
All right, but, okay, listen. I will say this. People call the show a lot, and there's potential trouble. And if you want to avoid it, it's really easy to avoid trouble. You just avoid the person.
Yeah.
It's very basic. If there's somebody at work and either some sexual harassment going on, if there's somebody at school and you think they're going to kick your ass, if there's something that there are people that are trouble, and then there are people who don't want any trouble, but yet they're sort of compelled. They're attracted to it. Anthony seems like one side of his mouth says he doesn't want any trouble. The other side of his mouth can't help but get himself into situations where he finds trouble. If you truly don't want any trouble with this person, then you're never alone with them. If you go into a room, you don't shut the door behind you. You always have another coworker around. You can always there's no paper trails of anything. You don't write them any letters on the back of as something recyclable, telling them to kill themselves. You just mind your P's and Q's. It's like being in prison.
That's right. Straighten up and fly right.
That's right. You stay out of trouble. Oh, my God, the recycling. And let me say this about recycling. First off, what happened to recycling? Is there anyone recycling anymore? Does it not work? The people have sort of... I was at work the other day, and I work in my office. There's just thousands. Our writers just write thousands and thousands of unusable jokes every day, just pure junk. I feel so bad, like I've taken up half the rainforest with just horrible jokes. And it was the same way at the Man Show. Now it's crank yankers. And there's piles and piles of papers on my desk that they're like virgin. They've just been spit. They go right from the copier. They go right into the trash can. And I'm thinking to myself, shouldn't we be recycling this stuff? And I said to my secretary, I said, don't we have a recycling bin or something? And she said, yeah, we do, but it goes right from that into the garbage. So you might as well just throw it in the garbage. And I remember one time when I was at an apartment building, it had like a 50-unit apartment building, and I would say to like the manager, geez, all these cans and everything, times 50 units, shouldn't we have a recycling bin out back? And they're like, nah. And so I just realized people don't seem to be interested in it, and the city's not so interested in it, and now everyone thinks all that stuff just goes into a landfill anyway, and it's just sort of a scam, and don't really worry about it, and they stopped running all those PSAs begging everyone to recycle. They used to do it like 5-10 years ago. So I'm just starting to think that people don't care about it, and the city doesn't seem to be interested in it, and apparently does nothing. And I'm not sure why it does nothing, but it just seems not to do anything. And if you are interested in it, as the city, don't you want to go to these 50-unit buildings and
you'd think
discuss recycling with those folks?
You'd think.
All right. Dr. Marcel here, and plastic surgery is the name of his game. We're talking about that tonight. Drew back tomorrow night. Bruce here never. And we'll be back after this. Hey, everybody. Loveline. I'm Adam. That's Dr. Marcel. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. Dr. Drew back from New York City tomorrow night. Dr. Marcel, and topic is plastic surgery tonight. Samantha?
Hey.
You're 21. What's up?
5 years ago, I had, my entire life, actually, I had a patch on my right breast that they thought would develop into melanoma.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was 16, I had it removed, and they did a beautiful job on the surgery. The scar is completely flush, but it does cut across my areola, so it's not a complete circle now.
Okay.
And since the surgery healed, I've noticed that it's larger than the other one. And so I'm wondering what kind of cosmetic surgery I can have done to make them look the same size. And to finish it out, can they tattoo the smaller one or cut down the larger one, or how does that work?
Yeah, well, actually, you summed it up really well yourself.
I was just guessing.
They tattoo?
Yeah, you can do areolar tattoos to try and match it, but...
Color it in.
Yeah.
Do you have to go to a plastic surgeon?
No.
That kind of
and here's the ironic thing.
To do that.
I in my reconstructive surgery, I do breast reconstruction, and we make nipples, basically, and we make areolas.
How do you do that?
Yeah, you got to manipulate the local tissue, and you do grafting and whatnot.
And is there still the same? Sorry to interrupt, but is there still the same bumps from the gland?
No. It's made to visually look like it, but it's not going to be with all the little irregularities there that you have. But the thing is the pigment that I'm allowed to use in the hospital, the medical grade pigment, fades after like a year or two. Right?
Really?
It's horrible
and it's like
pigment.
10 times more expensive.
Right. So what I do, I send them to I have a gal that I know that's a tattoo artist. She does the greatest areolar tattooing. It looks so realistic.
Really?
Oh yeah, and she uses regular ink, and it lasts.
Is it sort of like a brownish orangish sort of ink?
Yeah, and she tattoos in little subtleties, the little irregularities in color. I mean, it's a work of art. Way better than I could ever do it.
Will she check out the color of whoever's areola?
Right.
And will she mix up a batch of paint?
Right. No, she's, that's way better than I could ever do it. But, Samantha, you summed up the problem beautifully. I mean, that's either you make one areola a little smaller or you make the other one a little bigger.
Well, sounds like making the one a little bigger is the way to go.
Yeah.
I'd suggest all women do that. I like that.
But one thing, certainly have a surgeon at least look at it, and he or she will explain your options.
That'd be a great thing to do to a buddy who passed out. Tattoo some huge saucer-sized areolas on him. As a guy, it's like sickening. Like once in a while, like one out of every 300 guys have slightly larger areola. It becomes sort of, it's like sexual and bizarre at a certain point. My dad has that, I think. Victoria. Well, we're told to take Victoria. Oh, she's been on hold for 73 minutes. Maybe she's asleep. Has 2 long scars on her arm that stick up from a car accident. I think she's snoring.
Poor thing.
If you have a scar that's like keloided, like it sticks up.
Right. There are some locations on the body where the chance of having a bad scar exists. Anywhere near a joint, like near your shoulder, is a tough spot. Some people are prone to forming thick scars. The best thing to do is to try and keep the scar from becoming thick right after the accident or after the surgery. A lot of times using some silicone solid sheeting over the scar can help. So, certainly steroid injections have been used.
Once you have it, what can you do for the keloid?
Usually you need to cut them out and start fresh.
All right. We're going to take ourselves a quick break. But you can do that. You essentially cut it, and now you're back to where you were before.
Right, you're back at square one.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Well, that's the show, everybody. I want to thank Dr. Marcel for coming in here tonight and doing a great job. And if you have questions for Dr. Marcel regarding these topics we've talked about and others in the plastic surgery, reconstructive surgery field, you can find him at...
You can get through me through my website. It's imagemd.com, and I'm happy no matter what part of the country you're from, I can at least steer you to local physicians or people that at least I know of that'll give you a fair evaluation.
So one more time?
imagemd.com.
All right. Thanks a lot, Marcel. Always good to see you. And Dr. Drew, I almost forgot that kid's name, going to be in here tomorrow night. So until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Dr. Marcel saying mahalo.
This has been Loveline. The opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the staff, management, sponsors, or this station. The producer for Loveline is Ann Wilkins Ingold. Loveline is a presentation of Westwood One Entertainment.